Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And sorry about the weird pauses. My Stream Deck just decided not to do any scene transitions. I don't know why. I guess I'll have to figure that out later. I'm back to being a pleb, clicking with my mouse, moving around like an old man, fumbling through computer menus. I mean, that's really what's going on. It is what's happening, but yeah, I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason that my Streamlabs, it recorded when I hit record. It just didn't switch the scenes. So there you go. Yeah. Well, anyway, so tonight, hey, welcome back. It's been a weekend. For me, it was a very, very long and busy weekend, which had nothing to do with YouTube or Vic or anything that you guys would know about. Is entirely, I mean, if you watched my late night Twitch shows over the weekend at all, I talked about just I had a wedding and then a party, and oh my goodness, children everywhere, children just falling out of pockets and things like that. Insane. All right. So today we're going to talk about, I cannot get comfortable. Something happened. Somebody came in and messed with my stuff. We're going to talk about some, whatchamacallit? Some stuff. We're going to talk about, I got some fan mail. Can't go a while without getting some fan mail. And this one makes me sad. This one makes me a little bit of a sad. You guys, some of you may see why, some of you may not. That's okay. But just know that this fan mail, it cut me deep. It cuts me deep. And I got corrected. And leading with the mistake is a little weird in this one. So I'm going to lead with the announcement that I got corrected in this fan mail by the Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board. They corrected one of my statements. So I'm going to go in and talk about that a little bit and make sure that that I'm very clear about what I was trying to convey. Okay? And not like dodging the correction. The correction was good. But I want to be very clear that I stand roughly by the statements I made, and I'll tell you why. That's very cryptic. It's nothing crazy, but it's a little cryptic. Okay, so and yes, the fan mail is from the Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board. Typically, when I'm talking about fan mail, that's what I mean. So it's a new one. That said, what else do we have? Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Jeffrey Epstein died. He's this guy, just totally normal billionaire guy with a plane that would take some high profile friends to places. And some people think it was weird, like what they were doing or something, but I don't know. He's just flying around to various properties like billionaires do. And who are we to judge? But anyway, the mean government came in and decided to do something to him. Very rude of them. They put him in a jail cell for a while, and somehow we lost him. And he's gone. So press S for Jeffrey Epstein. Just a tragic, unforeseeable, unfortunate event. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And there's an article I wanted to read through. I haven't actually read it. So we'll read through that together and take a look. And it's William Barr's determination that the case will go on in some capacity. So we can talk a little bit about that and experience. I have some experience with a client not living through a criminal proceeding, so we can talk about that a bit, and how that happened, how that affected my case, and how that'll differ from this case. So we've got that. What else do we have? Cody Wilson. I feel like I've mentioned this, but I don't know if I mentioned it on YouTube or just on Twitch. But I want to talk about Cody Wilson a little bit. So we'll do a refresher of his situation, and then we'll talk about the plea deal that he is signing. And the judge has to sign off on the plea deal. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But the plea deal is amazing. So there you go. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. There may be some other stuff to talk about. Oh, I should talk about Vic's weekend in New York, I guess it was one day, and I can walk you through kind of what happened with all of this stuff. Okay, so I'll walk you through that, and then let you know how it went. And I tell you guys, for all of the drama and all of the lunacy out there, when Vic goes somewhere to meet people, people show up. What is stupid? Sorry, I keep seeing. Oh, there's a light spot on my hair right here. When I turn my head really quick, it looks like something's in my hair. Anyway, I'm sorry. My brain is fried. Like a fried egg today. Anyway, when Vic goes somewhere to meet fans show up over and over and over. You can talk about Vic's career being in the toilet. You could talk about his reputation being trash. You could talk about certain people not wanting to associate with him or whatever. But at the end of the day, the people who drive the industry are the fans. And they show up for Vic like they don't show up for other people. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we're going to talk about his weekend in a little bit. We'll get started here. Maybe I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do this a little earlier. In just a minute, I'm going to read through some super chats that have come in, only a couple, and then I'll let a few more people filter in, and we'll talk about the week that's coming, and then we'll do the fan mail after this episode brought to you by the Ridge Wallet. We'll do that in just a few minutes here. So got a couple more spots to run for the Ridge. I try and only do one a week because I don't want to inundate people with the sponsorship bits or anything like that. But I really like it. I've gotten good feedback from other people who have bought it, so we'll do that in a few minutes. Let's do these quick super chats, and then we'll talk about the week, and then we'll talk about the Ridge, and then we'll go into fan mail. So there you go. There's a plan for you. Two Hands says, watch some of the footage from Vic signing in New York City and made me feel inspired. There is still good in this world. I donated to his GoFundMe just now. Since all the infighting at Comicsgate, I have some extra money. Man, and that Comicsgate stuff I'm staying way out of it. I see the writing all over that wall. Look, if y'all are in some Comicsgate drama, if y'all's in some drama, get out. Don't pick sides. Don't get involved in this. I'm telling you, this is how things fall apart. Comicsgate is not immune to it. It's a very, very poor business decision for anybody involved in that. And I think it's a real shame that anybody is propagating this weird infight that's happening. Comicsgate was supposed to be about, first, criticism of the comics industry. And then second, making books, selling them to people who want to buy them. Somewhere along the way, people added in, oh yeah, drama, gay ops, infighting, backbiting, whatever you want. I will strongly urge people to just walk away from whatever that nonsense is. And when I say people, I mean the people involved in Comicsgate. I'm not even talking about the audience. Audience, you do you. You are the chat. The chat is always right, and the chat always wins. The problem is for the non-chat out there, for the creators, for the guys trying to make books, the ladies trying to make books, the people trying to do YouTube shows, I would advise you to back off out of that one, because that's going to be a mess as things keep going. So that's my personal, stay back, that's my personal opinion on that. And it has no context to it other than watch it in other communities and you can see the writing. So Ryan Mercado says, Nick, Mr. Miss Cohen is literally butthurt and acting like a sad, attention-seeking man-child if it turns out he was the one that gave you some fan mail. I hope you have a plan for this. Oh, no. No, Akiva, to Akiva Cohen's credit, I believe she suggested that it would be pointless to pursue ethics violations against me. However, since she decided to protect and get rid of all of her tweets, I can't back that up, but I'm pretty sure she made a statement about not being worth going after me because I wasn't representing anyone in the case. However, Ty or Percy ... And then that's very, cute. But so there's that. No, it's not from Akiva. Not from Akiva. Innocuous Remark says, Nick, I know you think everyone deserves a legal defense when accused of a crime, no matter how grievous, but what about people who put the toilet paper roll on backwards? There's no defense for that. I saw a definitive actual diagram of why the toilet paper needs to go on with the roll and then the sheet hanging in front, and you pull from the front, right? There's a reason. Because if there's a spider on the roll of toilet paper and you're pulling from the front, you'll see the spider coming around the top of the roll, right? It will come around the top of the roll. Okay, and your hand is not anywhere near it. If the spider's on the roll and you pull the other way and it's behind you, you won't see the spider. All right? And that's horrifying. Put the roll, that's the end of argument. End of argument. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Sarbamba says to institute red flag policies on the ownership of firearms is not only dystopian, unconstitutional, and flat out wrong, is a straight up rip off of Minority Report, the good story that Hollyweird and Tom Cruise ruined. I haven't even read what the red flag policies are. I haven't read up on them. I've heard about them, like literally about them, but I've never. I guess maybe if we have time tonight, maybe I'll take a peek at them. But I haven't read anything about it. And I apologize. I am like, I'm trying to amp up here. I am dying on my feet, or well, in my seat, I guess. I'm really, really tired this evening. So we'll see how long the show goes tonight. I don't want to sit here and drag you guys through me asleep. But at the same time, I do want to cover these subjects. Okay, there's super chats. Let's do the Ridge Wallet thing. As some of you know, the show has one sponsor who I really do appreciate because I really, really like their product. So I'm very happy to work with them. It's Ridge Wallet, the Ridge Wallet. The Ridge there, yeah. Autofocus actually works. It's a metal wallet. It's basically 2 plates, some elastic banding, and it holds your stuff. in there, and you can actually put more cards in here if you want, but I took out all the doxable cards because I've almost doxed myself twice doing these Ridge wallet spots, and I didn't want to do that again. But the long and short is you got this little thing. Again, here's your normal size wallet. Okay, Ridge is like half the size, same thickness, a little thicker because I've got some cash on there. You can get a cash strap or a cash clip if you like clips. You can't get a cash magazine though, or a bandolier, only a clip. And then, so here you go. So if you want to access your cards, it's really simple. There's a notch. There's a notch. This one didn't make Minecraft, but it's a notch. And then you just kind of, you know, you can fan them out if you are showing off your cards, but that's weird to do. What you actually do is just grab the card that you want. You don't like, hey, what's up, cashier? Check out my wallet full of cards. This only happens in advertisements. But no, you just grab the one you want, you slide it back in, and it works great. It sits nice in your pocket. Apparently, these plates are RFID blocking plates. If you believe in that voodoo wizardry, I don't really care because I don't have RFID cards, but maybe some of you do. And if you do and you want them blocked, you put them in the thing. And you put them in the thing. Well, you know what? I can kind of confirm that it works because when I was down in Houston for my family reunion, I had an RFID hotel access card in my wallet, and it didn't work when I slapped it up to the thing. So there you go. Proof. Scientific evidence. But anyway, go to, oh, I've got a thing, don't I? Do I have? I think I can put it up on screen. Where is it? Where is it? Ridge? Oh, baby. I'm back at home. I can do this. Ridge.com/for-the-fans and use the promo code for the fans. You get like a 10% off discount, which is pretty good. Because they're not cheap, right? I think they start at $70 or something for the aluminum ones, and then they go up depending on the type of metal that you want. Mine is the burnt titanium. That's why it's got this little burn pattern. They have carbon steel and some other stuff. But anyway, so, you know, this discount's pretty good. I think there's something else too. If you buy other stuff, they have backpacks and knives and phone cases and all that stuff. So check it out. Ridge.com/for-the-fans, or you could just click on the link down in the description, since they are the sponsor of the show tonight. And I do really appreciate doing business, and I love the feedback you guys have been giving me. So that's that. So there you go, Ridge. I'm only enslaved to you for like 2 more of these, and I'm free. And I'm just kidding. If they want to re-up, I'd be happy to do it. Because again, I like it. All right. So that's that. Now, on to other business. We've got plus, if you put it in your shirt pocket, I don't have one, but if you put it in your shirt pocket, it could stop a bullet. I'm just saying, I wouldn't recommend trying it, but it might. Maybe. A 22, probably. A BB gun, definitely not. That'll blow a hole right through you. Okay. Here we go. What do we got? Ooh. Yeah. Fan mail. Oh, wait. We've got Nova Zero says, for years I hated backward facing toilet hanging. Is that what happened to Epstein? But then I saw one case where a window blew in from above, forced the toilet roll downwards and into the bowl. I hope you can forgive these people. I'll buy a Ridge wallet. Dustin Fritz Farr says, the spider argument is a flawed argument made by those who live with a false sense of security. One must constantly subject yourself to potentially dangerous situations to keep yourself vigilant and aware of your mortality. Oh, trust me. If I'm reaching for the toilet paper roll, I just survived a dangerous situation. Mythos Irving says, glad you have not been Clinton for talking about Epstein. Had us worried, Nikki. No, I'm very much alive, and I am, guys. I've told you I am at a place of joy and peace. So if I ever rip, it was certainly not my own doing. That is not on the menu or the agenda, ever. So, all right. Here we go. Let's stupid Stream Deck. I want my money back. I'm just kidding. I'll fix you later. Here we go. We've got this. By the way, Razorfist put out a good video on Epstein today. Just a little rant, like 7 minutes. And Razorfist always puts out a good little 7-minute rant. Even if you disagree with him, it's at least lively. But no, I think his take is good. Good take. So this is in the matter of the complaint of William Matthew Bailey. I should block this out so that it's like that. I should redact the decision to leave it in suspense. But no, so yet again, a determination that discipline is not warranted without investigation. Man, I've been through this one a couple times just to make sure I redacted everything. But we've got, what is this? Why? Anyway, we've got William Matthew Bailey, and this one cuts me deep. But it was sent a while ago, and I am forgiving. But, you know. All right, after reviewing the documents you submitted, the director has determined not to investigate your complaint. The reason for the director's decision not to investigate this complaint are as follows. Complaint summary. You directed our attention to a YouTube video entitled Fan Mail and Funimation's TCPA Preview of Things to Come. In the video, Nicholas Rekieta is conducting a live stream. At approximately the 1 hour mark, Mr. Rekieta displays on the screen an email complaint against him that was sent to a staff member at our office from another complainant. The other complainant stated that the staff member's email address was the only one he could find in the Office of Lawyers' Professional Responsibility website, so that is why he sent it to her. In displaying the email on his live stream, Mr. Rekieta redacted the other complainant's email address on the first page of the complaint. At the bottom of the complaint, the other complainant specifically states address withheld at request. The other complainant also states released personal information like this has been used to send, encourage, sick, real-world encounters and death threats in order to harm, harass, silence, and intimidate perceived enemies. First of all, let's just quickly say that is what the complaint said, but that is untrue. So, moving on. As such, I would prefer that my address, phone number, and other personal details remain secret for the time being. So this first bit is about the doxing of an email address, an errant failure in redaction. But let me take just a moment and talk about these ethics complaints. Okay, because there's some confusion. I found this out. Not everybody knows everything that I do. I don't know how some people in the world aren't aware of literally everything I've ever said. But these complaints that I read are ridiculous. They're ridiculous in that none of them have anything to do ever with my practice of law. All right? I have never received a complaint from a client or from opposing counsel or from a witness or anyone involved in any case that I have ever worked. Never have I received a single complaint about my actual professional activity. Okay? I want to be very clear here. Every one of my, I think now 7 ethics complaints stems from someone being butthurt about a YouTube video. That's it. And I would have a real, I don't want to call it a moral dilemma. I would have to have a really long think about an ethics complaint if it were even remotely close to reasonable, right? I don't know that I would display that type of ethics complaint. One, because it would involve a client or someone opposed in a lawsuit or something like that. Two, because people do have a right and should file complaints when a lawyer is actually engaged in misconduct. I would never foreclose that. And I work very hard to try and make sure that I'm not ever engaged in that sort of situation. I don't want to put anybody in there. So when I read these and make jokes about them, it's because they're all dumb. All right? They're all dumb. There's no like legitimate complaint or even like, I don't even want to say legitimate, anything even close to being possible. Never met a single person that has sent a ethics complaint against me. So that's why I read these. Anyway, I just want to clarify, because I have heard that some people thought that the people making complaints against me were my clients or something like that, and not just random dummy or clout chaser on the internet. And a couple of them are, you know, have histories of stuff like this. So that's what's going on here. And this one is no exception, although it still cuts me deep. It's based on some misinformation, and that's a shame. That's a shame. At the timestamp, 1 hour, 1 minute, 40 seconds, Mr. Rekieta scrolls down to display our June 5th, 2019 letter to the complainant, which displays his email address. Mr. Rekieta quickly scrolls up to try and hide the email address and says, whoops, well, his email is on there. I didn't actually see it there. That's true. That happened. Sorry, other complainant. My bad. Various people commented in the live stream that the other complainant was doxxed, which that's a joke. I don't know if Billy, that was a joke. The person isn't actually doxxed. Actually, you could go check the New York Times, who, by the way, the New York Times has defended the Texas representative who disclosed names and I believe addresses of donors to a political campaign on his Twitter account, right? Like 42 people who donated to President Trump's campaign, and he just put their names, and did he put their addresses out there as well? I think that's what happened. And fear not, the New York Times was very quick to publish that was not doxing. How dare these right-wing trolls suddenly say that is doxing, right? And they go ahead, what they clarify, now according to the New York Times, the preeminent authority, the best doxers in the world, what is doxing according to the New York Times? Disclosure of private information, which is cell phone numbers, social security numbers, credit card numbers, and the places of children's school. So according to the New York Times, those are the 4 doxing things. What's interesting is nope, and nope. I don't know. That's but anyway. So I want to be very clear. Email addresses not on the New York Times list. It's fine. Dox the email addresses. Dox them all. That's a joke. I'm sure that's probably going to get flagged. Oh, well. Yeah. But no, so the dox was a joke. It was a joke because it was just an email address. Anyway, at approximately 1 hour, 3 minutes, Mr. Rekieta mentions the other complainant by name and states the following. Look at this. Hold on, I gotta see something. They watched. They watched, guys. I don't think William included all of this. They had to watch it, and they transcribed it. I just realized this now. Because his complaint's just an email. And this block of text is not in it. And he didn't include documents of this complaint. So yeah, they actually watched the video, and at least from the part he told them to, and they transcribed it for him. Oh God. Hi, LPRB. In case you have to watch this one too. I don't think you will, but hi. Well, I did just say docs all their email addresses. Oh my gosh. I did just say that. So if you have to watch it, make sure you read the chat. It's helpful. Here's quoting me. Look, I really did try to redact his address here, but then I didn't realize that they put it on the last page because frankly, I don't care that much. True. Here's the thing, complainant. Now, no one please take this as some sort of indication that I have any intent to pursue this action, which I didn't ever. I don't do that. Even though some law Twitter people said that I was clearly threatening to do this, which is silly. I do not care that complainant sent this email to the LPRB, but I want to point something out for you aspiring ethics reporters. For you aspiring ethics reporters out there, your actual ethics complaint is privilege against defamatory statements. So you make the statements and they're not defamation because they're privileged. Now here's where they correct me. Okay, so this is a big correction is coming up, but let me read through the statement and we'll get the correction. Your email to a professional responsibility board person for the intent of disciplining or otherwise removing a lawyer's license or raising some sort of general professional ire against him that may be per se defamatory because you're trying to accuse someone of wrongdoing within their profession, okay? So you're saying that I'm not fit to practice law because of things I'm doing related to the practice of law. When you send that in an email because you screwed up too bad to find the link where you could actually fill out the form, those are defamatory statements that are likely not protected by privilege because you're not actually in the privileged format. So, were there a vindictive lawyer or were this to result in some financial harm, I could theoretically pursue a defamation action against you, and since it's per se, damages would be presumed. I wouldn't have to prove that you actually damaged me until we got to the actual damages portion of the lawsuit. That would be a different story, but that element of the claim would be presumed. I would just have to show falsity, and there are several things in this document that are false. Now, I'm not going to sue you because you didn't do any harm to me and because you're just a dummy on the internet. I don't run around suing random people just for being dummies on the internet, okay? But you should be more cautious because a more vindictive lawyer might actually sue you for that. And you wouldn't be privileged against defamation just sending an email. So watch it. Now, here we go. You assert that in making the statement above, Mr. Rekieta has misrepresented the complaint process and attempted to shield the public from making complaints. You also assert that Mr. Rekieta is raising money via GoFundMe for the Vic Kicks Back campaign. Ding, 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 ding. Here we go. It's time. It's time. It's like Pee-wee's Big Adventure in here, except without the, the random trouble with the law. We got GoFundMe. Not GoFindMe. Vic Kicks Back. Let's do a status check on this because when they mention GoFundMe, we got to bring up the GoFundMe. It's a rule. So here we go. Here is the GoFundMe for Vic Kicks Back. We're at $237,665. We've got $100 from Kelly Broussard. Thank you so much. Alcaris, Madeline Armstrong, Anselmo Melo, Shy Fields, Marcus Leon, Javier Baez, John Michael Kelly. Come on now. That's definitely him. He's just trying to bribe me into that debate. And then Andrew Chan. So thank you all for donating. Again, $237,665 has been raised so far. Now, many of you might be out there worried about the progress of the GoFundMe, let me just say we're at a spot. There's not a lot of activity. There's a lot of waiting for what's coming next. And I am not concerned about that at all. People will donate what they can and when they want to, and I very much appreciate it. We've also got the knife promotion or whatever coming up that we'll talk about, which should help drive some donations towards the GoFundMe as well. And so that's that. But yes, an update. Gosh, I keep saying an update is in order, and it really is, but there's just not much to update. Right now we're in a waiting period. Maybe I should update with that. But speaking of John Michael Kelly, it looks like, so a brief aside, this weirdo has been demanding, like a petulant baby, that I debate him. Him? I guess it's a him. And I offered this slot tonight to do that debate. And he said, oh, I can't because it's a work day the next day or something. I said, well, that's not my problem, right? Because I have a show to run. But he proposed Wednesday. And I said, if nothing else happens, maybe. We'll see. So there may be a debate with John Michael Kelly on Wednesday. He is going to be specifically mad about the Vic Kicks Back GoFundMe. He calls it a scam, me a scammer, a grifter, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to debate. I don't know what the debate is. You're a scammer. No, I'm not. So we'll see. Maybe. Unless anything happens. And guys, I am praying something happens. Because those debates aren't, they can sometimes be entertaining, but it's really a crapshoot. If the other person is just a giant moron and they're not a moron enough to be funny, it flops hard, and I don't like doing those shows that much. The Shane show was maddening. The Tonka show, maddening. The Perfection show, absolutely maddening. John Michael Kelly show, no idea. No idea. It's a crapshoot. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's enough of this. That's enough of this. Let's... Reasons for decision not to investigate. Here we go. Rule 8A, Rules on Lawyers' Professional Responsibility, adopted by the Minnesota Supreme Court, states, upon a reasonable belief that professional misconduct may have occurred, director may make such investigation as director deems appropriate. Your complaint does not state a basis for a reasonable belief that misconduct may have occurred. Mr. Rekieta's inadvertent release of the other complainant's email address, while not condoned by this office, does not violate any rules of professional conduct in this instance. Mr. Rekieta is urged to use some more caution in the future. Well, I did, but you guys hid his email all over the place. It's your fault, meanies. Similarly, now see, here's where the correction comes in. This is the correction. Mr. Rekieta should use more caution before making assertions about the law. Oh, I'm a lawyer. I get to make assertions about the law whether you like them or not, guys. Just kidding. I'm joking. Mr. Rekieta's assertion that an email sent to a staff member at our office is likely not protected by privilege could therefore give rise to a defamation claim is incorrect. Rule 21 RLPR states, a complaint or charge or statement relating to a complaint or charge of an lawyer's alleged unprofessional conduct to the extent that is made in proceedings under these rules or to the director or a person employed thereby or to a district committee, the board or this court or any member thereof is absolutely privileged and may not serve as a basis for liability in any civil lawsuit brought against the person who made the complaint, charge, or statement. So, in short, the other complainant's email to this office was privileged, and that is right here. And I had not didactically remembered this part of the rules, but here you go. Or to the director or a person I'm on the redaction tool, just a second. So, or to the director or person employed thereby, or to a district committee, the board of this court, or any member thereof. So a statement made to anyone is absolutely privileged, is what it says. But let me make a counter assertion. Lawyers make their lives out of changing what is said into what is meant. And making a statement outside of the... When does a statement to a member of the board become not privileged is a good question, I think. I think that's actually a good question. So if I'm at a bar and I'm hitting on the receptionist who takes the lawyer's professional responsibility board stuff. And I'm hitting on him and I say, yeah, you know what? You know what I'm really good at? I'm really good at finding bad lawyers. I saw this one lawyer so-and-so. You should maybe look into that guy. Is that a complaint? Like, does that count? Because it is technically within the definition, right? It's a complaint or charge or statement relating to a complaint or charge of a lawyer's alleged unprofessional conduct to the extent that it is made in proceedings under these rules or ... to any member thereof. Okay. That means that you cannot possibly defame another lawyer to a member of the ethics board in relation to the lawyer's professional conduct. All right. I think that's too broad. I think that's actually an overbroad interpretation of the rule. And I think that a conniving lawyer, depending on the circumstance, could actually make the argument that that rule covers statements that are outside or covers speech that might be outside of its intended protection, so to speak. But I will concede that the board is correct. I'm not arguing against them. What I will say is people should be very careful when doing this stuff that they do it correctly, because that still won't stop a vindictive lawyer from bringing suit. And then you'd have to defend it. And that would be a mess. And you don't want that in your life. Chuck Norris, Texas Lamer says, so you're saying that if you kicked the bucket, it was obvious Moranicide. Fancy Flight says, by the New York Times standard, the argument can be made that the Kiwi Farms is not a doxing website. Yep, it absolutely could. Absolutely could. Yeah, there you go. She wasn't complaining to them about your capacity as a lawyer. She was libeling you in relation to things you do outside the practice of law. Clause defeated. Yeah, and lawyers have and do sue over ethics complaints. I don't and wouldn't, as I said, but some do. And that was the caution. There are a lot of little dependent reporters out there in the world who report people to things for everything. And at some point, you're gonna piss off the wrong person. It's not meant to chill your complaint. I actually didn't say don't make complaints. I said do it correctly. Make sure you do. It's weird how things get twisted, but anyway. So despite Mr. Rekieta's inaccurate statement of the law on his live stream, the director declines to initiate an investigation. Regarding the GoFundMe campaign that Mr. Rekieta is leading, there is no evidence of a violation of the rules. Outside practice to raise money for the Vic Kicks Back campaign is an activity outside his practice of law. Sure is. The conduct as alleged would not violate any rule of professional conduct. The director's office is limited to investigating complaints of unprofessional conduct, prosecuting disciplinary actions against attorneys. It cannot represent you in any legal matter, blah, blah, blah. You can appeal it if you want. You have 14 days. I hope William does not appeal. William? Anyway, I don't think he will, because yeah, It'd be silly and a waste of time. Minnesota offers. So here's the complaint form that he sent in. I believe I redacted everything. I even got the email right here. See? Got rid of it. Hold on. I'm so nervous now. I'm going to check and just make sure again that I don't see it somewhere. Oh my gosh. They got me checking myself. Okay, good. Here we go. Complaint. Relationship to lawyer. Other. No one ever describes, if you are someone other than the client, what is your connection to the lawyer? No one ever says, I saw him on Twitter and YouTube once. Complaint. He runs a YouTube channel with approximately 70,000 followers. Hey, we're up to 73,500 something or 600. And made comments that were meant to chill the public from filing bar complaints. No! Billy, no! Absolutely untrue. Absolutely not true. They were meant to chill the public from being incapable of finding the link to file the complaint. There's a difference. There's a difference. I wasn't telling people not to make valid complaints. I was telling people to make the complaints appropriately. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Although, don't make frivolous bar complaints. Oh, for the love of God, stop wasting these people's time. He also misstated the law on privilege as it relates to bar complaints. Well, that's like your opinion, man. YouTube channel is called Rekieta Law. The offending video is titled Fan Mail and Funimation's TCPA preview of things to come. It is a live stream from July 2nd. The link is here. The offending conduct can be found at approximately 1 minute or 1 hour, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Goes on for a few minutes. I believe this conduct violates 8.4C because it is a misrepresentation of the complaint process, and 8.4D because it is designed to chill the public from making complaints. He makes comments threatening to anyone considering filing a complaint. No, I did not. I did not threaten anybody. And you know that. You know that. I don't threaten people. Ooh, I don't even know who they are. They're in different states. They're rando people who got mad about a video. How would I even threaten them? Unrelated to the video in question, this lawyer is also running a GoFundMe campaign. This is troubling. So that an anime voice actor can pursue a slap suit to silence those who have accused him of sexual assault. Billy, they don't know what slaps are. We're in Minnesota. We don't have them. We don't have the anti-slap statute. The fund can be found here. GoFundMe, Vic kicks back. Hey, by the way, Lawyers Professional Responsibility Board, please check out the GoFundMe and consider donating. It's for a good cause. This lawsuit is not a slap at all. The lawsuit is about severe damage done to someone's reputation and employment. And if it were a slap, maybe there would have been demands for injunctions on the types of defamatory speech that are being released about him. Maybe there would have been demands to the court that the defendants cease their defamatory or tortious interference, defamatory activity or tortious interference. None of that's actually happened. So there's a difference between I want people to stop talking about me and I really want the defamation damage that has been done to me to be fixed. Those two things are very, very different. Very, very different. So, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. Are you submitting documents for this complaint? No. That's it. That's the whole of the complaint. So there you go. It is not, again, it's not a slap suit. It's not a slap suit. It's not public participation to defame someone. These aren't just insults. These aren't just opinions. They're not like, oh yeah, this guy's a weirdo or a creeper or whatever. Some of them are, right? Some of them are. Those people aren't being sued. But there are complaints that are designed to damage his reputation and remove him from employment. There are comments from the defendants about preventing him from being employed. There's a giant organization that has some level of veto power over appearances at conventions that fired him and made a statement. You want a chilling effect? You want a chilling effect on economic opportunity? Look no further than Funimation's statement about Vic. Look no further. That statement was designed to damage Vic. Scott Barretto, you're a liar, and you know it. That statement did not need to be made, and it certainly didn't need to be made in that way, and you had all the time in the world to clarify it, and you didn't, because that statement was about causing harm. Just like Rial's statements, just like Toye's statements, and just like Markey's statements. People didn't care a month before. They're having dinner, giving hugs, being happy and cheerful around the predator that causes them terror, that keeps them awake at night, that they need extra armed security at a random comic book store in Dallas. That the predator who will leave Kamea in Dallas, go 25 miles to assault them at a comic book store. So they need a pretend mall cop security squad to protect them. Yeah. That guy. They were hanging out with him a month before they made these statements. And having fun and smiling on video and being happy and giving hugs and kisses and all of that crap. This is all BS. And it's about destroying the reputation. It's not about offering an opinion or just a passing insult. That's the thing that dummies like Doucette are twisting. Oh, it's an insult. It's protect. It's not an insult when the intended audience is supposed to, not just that a reasonable person could infer. The intent is to convey that he is a sex offender. It's not, oh, you weird pedo. That's an insult. Saying, this guy's a pedo. No, I really mean it. That's not an insult. That's defamation. Unless they are a pedo. Or if they look like a pedo, like Mark Waid or whatever. So there you go. That's the that's what we've got on the fan mail here. Got to click back to this thing. That's the thing we've got going there. What else do we need to talk about? We need to talk about New York. I'll run you through the New York events, and then we'll move on to Jeffrey suicide in a locked up cell right after, with no suicides in the jail's history. Good job. He did something unique and special. He'll be remembered. Okay. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So New York. It's New York. So here's the backstory for New York. Let me run this by you, in case you don't know. Vic was invited to Liberty City Anime Con. It is a New York convention held in Times Square. It's someplace in Times Square. And the CEO of the convention is Ryan Kopf. Ryan Kopf. Now, Ryan Kopf has actually received he's been through a similar situation to Vic, we'll say. There have been complaints about Ryan Kopf back in like 2013 or 2015. I don't remember the dates. You guys can actually find this pretty simply if you type in Ryan Kopf on Google. They are accusations that apparently plague him to this day. That said, he invited Vic knowing full well what was going on. I believe. I have to assume. And was standing with Vic and very happy to have Vic apparently, allegedly, Allegedly. I've not spoken to Ryan about this. This is a little bit of secondhand daisy chaining, but you'll have to bear with me. Ryan, by the way, if you watch the show, shoot me an email, buddy. We can talk about stuff. So Ryan is with Vic, and then some complaints come in. Many of you have seen Geiga Jaw complaining and you know, how do I say this in the polite way? Pleasuring herself over her ability to have Vic removed from any venue that she goes after. Because think about this. Let's think about this, guys. I'll put it this way. Geiga Jaw is so unappealing to interact with that a company would rather throw away thousands of dollars than receive another email from Jennifer Lynn Hunt. Jennifer Lynn Hunt is so horrible to talk to that people are paying, literally paying thousands of dollars to not talk to her ever again. So, good job, Jennifer Lynn Hunt. You're that horrible that people will just throw money away and run in the other direction. You've done it. You've made it. You win. You win. Oh, gross. Oh, what an awful person. Anyway, so she starts attacking Liberty City Anime Convention. And then from what I hear, the buzz about town is that some guests expressed discomfort at having Vic invited, and then some staff may have expressed comfort at having Vic invited. So Ryan was in a position where he wants to support Vic, but is facing protestations from other people involved in his business. So he made a business decision, one that I do not at all agree with. I think it's a poor business decision. I think it reflects poorly on your organization, and I think you should feel a little bit bad about it, Ryan. I really do. Even though you did take steps to make it as right as possible, I do think that you hurt the anime community by doing this. You do. And I'll explain why. And there's more on this to come over the next couple weeks. This is something that I'll talk about more in the next coming weeks. But every person uninvited from a convention, and I don't care if it's Vic or Monica or Marky, and if you pay attention, I have not suggested that Monica and Marky should not be at a show. And I've not suggested, I don't believe I've ever suggested that people should not go see them if they like them. If you like them, go support them. That is fine. And particularly, that's what conventions are for. They're for fans to interact with people they want to see. Period. Fans get to meet people that they have no other ability to meet at conventions. And when you, as the CEO of a convention, promise to bring someone and then decide to separate the fans from that person, you have severed their ability to meet them. And it doesn't matter what political side of a discussion they're on. That's what you're doing. And that's a tragedy. A tragedy in the anime community right now. It's a tragedy in the comics community and any other fan community because it's not limited to anime. When you say the fans can't meet Vic because of you've got a staff member or another voice artist or whatever that is making fuss, you have to tell that person to suck it up. This is a business, and this business runs for fans. Period. That's what you do. I'm sorry, that's what you do. Because you are building a community and you're running a business. And if you're not doing those two things appropriately, then maybe you should look at something else. Anyway, I'm digressing. I disagree with Ryan's decision. However, he set up this alternate place to book. Set up an alternate place to book Vic. And that was at Open Jar Studios. Open Jar Studios. Now, I don't know specifically what happened with Open Jar Studios, but Open Jar Studios basically canceled the event. I believe there was pressure involved, but I don't know for sure. And I'm not sure I'm allowed to say what Open Jar Studios said about it. I don't know if they've said anything publicly. So I won't disclose that unless someone in the chat says it, then I can confirm it. But I haven't been following what they've been saying, if they've made any public statements. But long story short, Open Door Studio came up with a rather bogus answer as to why they couldn't book the private venue for 4 hours. That's that. Next thing that happens is a little serendipitous. Next thing that happens is the Marriott, I believe, in Times Square had an open room and allowed Vic to do a signing in that room. And it was a bigger room than Open Jar Studios. It was, how do we say this? A bigger room than Open Jar Studios. It was more accommodating and accessible than Open Jar Studios. And at Open Jar, he had 4 hours. At this place, he was given 9 and ended up staying for 10. And it costs less to book. All around, a much better option than Open Jar Studios. It was a very successful event. If you go and look at the, I believe there are pictures of the event. If you go look at the pictures, tons of people, somewhere north of 350 people showed up to support Vic, say hi, get autographs. Oh, and I think there was a deal where if you showed up with your Liberty City Anime Convention badge, you got your first autograph for free. Then you could get more or whatever. But here's the crazy thing. Here's what I heard. Now, I can't officially confirm these numbers, but here's what I heard. Somewhere over 350 people showed up, and maybe 50 of them to 60 of them were from Liberty City Anime Con. Which means 300 people. Ryan, hello, woohoo. Hey, Ryan, and all other conventions out there, pay attention to this. 300 people went to see Vic that probably would have gone to the show, but didn't. Now, I checked Liberty City Anime Con's prices, and this is how much money listening to a dumpy, washed up, angry, bitter, dried up, nasty individual like Jennifer Lynn Hund did. Based on the ticket prices after June 1st. And Vic was announced after June 1st. And based on the idea that maybe 50 to 60 people showed up with Liberty City badges and the other 300 did not, Liberty City threw away $18,000 in ticket prices alone. In ticket prices alone. That doesn't count. By the way, vendors who went to Liberty CityCon, 300 people could have walked by your booth and didn't. Food vendors, 300 people could have bought your shawarma and didn't. Artists, other voice actors. Oh, and I can't confirm this either, but from what I heard, Vic in his private venue had more people show up than the voice actors at the convention combined. How embarrassing. So, to convention owners out there, listen, Linda, listen. Grow a pair. Grow a pair. That's 18 grand for you. That's uncountable number of money for the rest of the people at your show. Artists, craftspeople, various events that you put on at the show. You might be a nonprofit, but they're not. They're not. Other voice actors, maybe the ones who didn't say, well, I'm not comfortable having him there. They would have had more people. That's the dumb thing. These dummies are hurting their own business and then hurting yours. But they're hurting you worse than they're hurting themselves. So they're also bound by contract. You could remind them of that too. Grow a pair. It's not... It's for the fans, man. Bring the fans. Bring the fans. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right. I can't believe it. I'm meeting so many people in 2019 who are allergic to money. It's like, oh, sorry. I don't want success and profit and numbers. I don't want that. No, God. Ugh. I've got someone else's principles to worry about. I've got someone else's sensibilities to worry about. I don't want money and success and my own principles to matter. I've got to worry about this person who would disown me in a moment. I've got to worry about them and their problems. Oh my God. Are they listening to this channel? Oh, trust me. Trust me. This channel's a dirty girl. It gets around a little bit. It gets around a little bit. Intellectual iconoclasm says, when you as old as Bill and Hillary and come with a case of Epstein Barr, it's always fatal for someone involved. Yeah, the autofocus is going crazy. Let me turn that thing off. Stupid autofocus. Racist autofocus. Logitech employing their racist autofocus. It needs to be shut down immediately. I hear that autofocus does not like the state of Israel as well. Also, autofocus has the names of all the people who rode the Lolita Express to Epstein Island. Autofocus is very aware of that. So, but anyway, so this is a personal call out. I'm gonna start making this call more and more. If you are an event organizer, if you are a venue, and this is not a gendered statement, if you have a pair of stones, even if there's some ones you confiscated, and will stand up and say, actually, I care more about the community than one individual's whining. If you are that person, if you are an event coordinator or a venue, or oh my God, if you're the magic and you're both, reach out to me and I will get you in touch with Vic. This doesn't have to be at a con, by the way. Vic has pulled great numbers in North Carolina at a dojo. Vic has pulled great numbers in New York while other people are attending a convention. I think people will show up pretty much anywhere he goes to support him. And if you want to put together like an event and bring artists and all that stuff, do it. Do it. Heck, I'm thinking about doing one next year. I'm thinking about putting a team together and doing one next year. So, no promises. I don't know what I'm doing. But I know Vic's not coming to the Twin Cities area for Anna Minneapolis. So I thought maybe sometime I could bring him. Maybe I could bring some other people too. Maybe some artists and vendors would be interested in a startup, very alternative and offbeat convention. So I think people are tired of being kept away by some random gatekeeper. And we need to break that cycle. Because the gatekeepers are the old model. And if there are gatekeepers keeping you from people you like, let's change it. Let's change it. Right? Let's do that. So, if you are an event planner, venue owner, if you're interested in booking Vic, I am not his agent. I will get you in touch with someone who can make that happen. How's that? But don't come to me. Don't come to me if you're going to back down when some ugly dude, data analyst starts whining in your email inbox. Use the spam folder, buddy. Just do that. It's amazing what you can do. They would block you on Twitter. Block them from your email. They weren't coming anyway. They will never get... Jennifer Lynn Hunt will never give you money. They're pretending. And when you uninvite someone, Jennifer Lynn Hunt is not going to be there with a check for $18,000 that you lost. Won't be. So, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. BoomerCon, yeah! That would be great. That would be great. All right, next. I don't exist at all says a veteran who survived a bomb came home to be diagnosed with cancer. The VA refused to let her be treated. She survived and wants to come on your show to talk about her mistreatment. She emailed you. Her name is Jess. Whoa, that sounds amazing. I will see if I can find Jess's email. Very cool. All right. Next. What do we got? We've got... Oh, yeah, Epstein. Let me find... Bar Epstein. Oh, good. Oh, there we go. Let's just take a look. Oh, quelle coincidence! Quelle coincidence, as the Spanish would say. It's a joke. That's a joke. No, stupid New York Times. Okay. Where are we? Back here. Liz, New York Times. Look at these ads everywhere. Just ads all over the place. Urinary hairball control. Adult male cat. Oh, there we go. Savory chicken recipe. This is probably based off of my viewing, isn't it? Dang it. Stupid cats. I have kittens. I don't know if you guys know, I have 4 kittens at my house. And I was just going to eat them, but then my daughter really, really likes... I wasn't going to eat them, but my daughter really, really likes one. I'm like, oh, God, no. I was just going to go outside. Anyway, here we go. Look at Barr, man. Looking. Oh my God, he's got a Newt Gingrich growing on his eyebrow. Get that taken off, William. All right. Only one in short staff jail. Epstein was left alone for hours, and the guard was a substitute. Whoa. Well, we're not. I mean, we're definitely not helping the conspiracy narrative. We're not helping the conspiracy narrative at all. At all. Oh my gosh. This is written by 40 people. Three people. Ollie Watkins, Katie Benner, and Danielle Ivory. Danielle, okay, August 12th. One of the two people guarding Jeffrey Epstein, when he apparently hanged himself in a federal jail cell, was not a full-fledged correctional officer. Was his name like Bino? And was he like from, well, I never worked in a jail before, but, you know, Mr. Billary, he called me up and asked for a favor. Like, who was this? Who's this guy? And neither guard had checked on Mr. Epstein for several hours before he was discovered, prison and law enforcement officials said. Don't they have like a camera? Maybe not. Maybe that's an infringement on their jail privacy. Those details emerged on Monday as Attorney General William P. Barr sharply criticized the management of a federal jail in Manhattan, where Mr. Epstein, who is accused of sexually abusing dozens of teenage girls, was found dead on Saturday morning. Remember your government gave this guy immunity, just so we're clear. And my understanding is that the charges against Epstein involve allegations that were sealed up. I mean, I don't know the extent of it yet. We might never know. It might just not, well, he's dead. What are you going to prosecute, right? But they knew that this was happening. They gave him immunity for it. We are now learning of serious irregularities at this facility that are deeply concerning and demand a thorough investigation, said Mr. Barr, who, as the country's top law enforcement official, is responsible for federal prisons. We will get to the bottom of what happened, he added. There will be accountability. Mr. Barr did not offer additional information about the problems at the jail, but questions have been raised about why Mr. Epstein had been taken off suicide watch just days after apparently trying to kill himself, and then was left alone in a cell without close supervision. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe the warden took a flight on Epstein, on Lolita Express. Who knows? It could go anywhere. Oh my gosh, why did this happen? Guess we'll never know. Mr. Barr also said Mr. Epstein's suicide would not halt the investigation into other people who might have helped him traffic teenage girls for sex. Except they can't get the statements out of the dead man, can they? On Monday, FBI agents and New York detectives raided Mr. Epstein's private 70-acre island in the United States Virgin Islands. Come on. Do I have to say the joke? I'm not going to say the joke. Looking for documents, photographs, videos, computers, and other materials, people briefed on the matter said, any co-conspirators should not rest easy, but may they rest in peace, Mr. Barr said. The victims deserve justice, and they will get it. Sure he will. Sure they will. No correctional officer had checked on Mr. Epstein for several hours before he was found, even though guards were supposed to look in on prisoners in the protective unit where he was housed every half hour. A prison official and two law enforcement officials with knowledge of the detention said, speaking on the condition of anonymity. In addition, only one of the two people guarding the special housing unit, known as 9 South, normally worked as a correctional officer, according to 3 prison officials with knowledge of the case. The officials did not say what sort of job the other employee usually worked. Janitorial. I do cleanup. I clean up messes. A New York Times investigation published last year detailed this practice, under which federal prisons are so strapped for correctional officers that they regularly compel teachers, nurses, secretaries, and other support staff members to step in. The practice has grown at some prisons as the Trump administration has curtailed the hiring of correctional officers. Here we go, right? Here we go. Well, it's Trump's fault that Epstein's dead. That's why. Many Why would these three allege that it's Trump's fault? I don't know. Can we zoom in? Look at that. Who would believe that this face with those glasses and everything would suggest that Trump was at fault? Oh my. Let's get not happy. What happened to the zoom here? Okay. Oh my gosh. There we go. Back to where we were. Many of these staff members only receive a few weeks training in correctional work. Literally, here's the training. Nah, he's still jerking off. Yep. Still doing it. Every half hour. Push-ups. This is not... and while required by contract to serve as substitutes, are often uncomfortable in their roles. Even workers who previously held correctional positions have said that the practice was unsettling because fewer colleagues were on hand to provide backup if things turned ugly. Mr. Epstein's death came just 2 weeks after he had been taken off suicide watch at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan, where he apparently had tried to kill himself on July 23rd. Why was he taken off? Yeah, I mean, he tried and he failed. He won't do it again. He was being held at the detention center awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. He had been accused of luring dozens of underage girls into giving him erotic massages and engaging in other sexual acts at his mansions in New York City and Palm Beach, Florida. I was appalled, and indeed the whole department was, and frankly, angry to learn of the MCC's failure to adequately secure this prisoner, Mr. Barr said at the conference in New Orleans for the Grand Lodge Fraternal Order of Police. That Mr. Epstein was taken off suicide watch and left unsupervised long enough to have apparently taken his own life has sparked a public outcry, prompting criticism of the Justice Department and the Bureau of Prisons, which operates the Manhattan jail. Mr. Barr announced Saturday that both the FBI and the Justice Department's Inspector General would open respective probes into the circumstances surrounding Mr. Epstein's death. Bureau of Prisons declined to comment. Union officials said that for more than a year, officials in Washington had been made aware of a severe staffing shortage at the facility in the wake of a federal hiring freeze. One of the guards on the unit where Mr. Epstein died had been working overtime for 5 straight days, while the other had been forced to work overtime that day, a union official said. Let's be clear. I've met union guys, and a guard working 5 straight days of overtime, that sounds like a union job to me. That's seniority at work, right? That's not your meritocracy. The Council of Prison Locals has been sounding the alarm about the hiring freeze, said Eric Young, the president of the union that represents federal prison workers across the country. An autopsy of Mr. Epstein's body was conducted by the city's medical examiner on Sunday, but a final determination is pending. At the request of Mr. Epstein's lawyers, a private pathologist was permitted to attend the examination, which the city's chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson, called a routine practice. Since leaving suicide watch on July 29th, Mr. Epstein had been housed in 9 South, secure housing unit in one of the prison's most restrictive wings. His lifeless body was found in his cell around 6:30 a.m. by a guard conducting morning rounds. He had used a bed sheet to hang himself, one official said. Mr. Epstein was being housed alone. Under normal procedures, he should have had a cellmate. But the inmate housed with him had been recently transferred and had not been replaced, several officials said. I mean, come on! Well, of course. They had him whacked. Why not? Why wouldn't they? They're all in on it. According to the Bureau of Prisons policy, several high-ranking prison officials would have had to approve Mr. Epstein's removal from the facility's suicide prevention program, including the prison's chief psychologist. Where's the receipts? Where's the receipts? Do you have the receipts? Somebody's got them receipts. Oh my goodness. It's like they're trying to write a Grisham novel. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Cloudfire181 says, Nick, you can't eat principles. I can't believe they were that dumb to throw away that money. If I was running that business, I would have pink slipped the staff member or enforced the contract if they refused to work. Middles Irving says, don't yeet the cats or feed them vodka, Nick, but I guess you can eat them. Philip Stahl says, Rackets Con, the first and only con to come to Spicer, Minnesota. Come one, come all. The entertainment is for the fans all. It would be like the OG Woodstock, but with anger and fans and the fists of law. Balls Monkey says, we've gotten reports from the coroner, Johnny C., that Mr. Epstein's cause of death was suicide on the count of 3 bullets to the back of the head. Capiche? Philip Stahl says, coroner ruled death to be of the Clinton style. Dustin Fritz Farr says, not sorry, Nick, but the joke must be made. They may be the Virgin Islands, but the lollies traffic there certainly are not anymore. No, you Dustin Fritz Farr. I keep saying Fitz. Dustin Fritz Farr. Man, this was a Christian stream until then. Oh my goodness. Dang it. I just inhaled spit because I was laughing. Someone before the stream, and I apologize, I'm stealing your joke. I don't remember who it was, but in the chat put, I did not have suicidal relationships with that man. I did not do it. Not a single time. Okay. Next. What do we have? Okay, we've got Cody Wilson. Let me see if I can pull up the story of Cody Wilson's plea deal. Cody Wilson plea agreement. This is The Statesman. I don't know. Like an Austin newspaper. I think this is an Austin newspaper. Let's see what we can pull up here. I talked about Cody Wilson when he was first tagged. We'll do a rundown. Some of you might not be familiar with this story. It's really a fascinating story. Oh my gosh. Really a fascinating story. I zoomed in, but the text is still here we go. All right. Okay, so Cody, that's Cody right there. Cody is the former CEO of Defense Distributed. Now, Defense Distributed is the Max, chill out. It's jokes, buddy. It's jokes. Cody is the the former CEO of Defense Distributed. Defense Distributed is the company that created the Ghost Gunner, and also the company that hosted or popularized. Gosh, this is just a little bit too big. There we go. Now I got all the words on the screen. Popularized the 3D printing of firearms to the general public. I don't want to be out there saying that they like pioneered it or anything like that. I know there's all sorts of people doing it, but these are the people who made the news for it, right? Cody was the guy. He had a vision that everyone would have access to 3D printable firearms at some point in the future, and that would ensure the Second Amendment couldn't be stopped by any level of government, because there would be, like, eventually you'd have to ban so much stuff that you couldn't do it. What are you going to do? Ban 3D printers? Are you going to ban the plastic that goes in them? What are you going to ban? You're going to ban the bullets? At some point, you'd have to ban too much stuff to make it happen. And the first gun that was 3D printed was a pistol. It's called the Liberator, I believe. And there's a metal plate that you had to attach to it to make it technically legal, so it would be detectable by a metal detector. And then there's like the firing pin was a nail, a regular metal nail, and that was it. That was the only metal parts on the gun. Everything else was 3D printed, and you cobbled it together with a complex series of instructions. And then he moved on, and you can now 3D print lower receivers and all sorts of stuff. You can 3D print basically an entire AR, I believe. It's pretty crazy what you can do. So Cody Wilson was at the forefront. He was involved with in a federal lawsuit. He was Defense Distributed, his company was basically, they were involved in a federal lawsuit, and then the government reached a plea agreement, or not a plea agreement, a settlement agreement. It was civil lawsuit. The government reached a settlement agreement with Cody that they would not prosecute him. Or no, it wasn't civil, was it? It was criminal. They would not prosecute him for distributing these 3D printed files, or the CAD files, right? Because it's protected speech. Protected speech as being distributed, and what they were doing was an infringement on free speech. And there's a trade restriction that was preventing these files from going overseas, and they promised to make a rule change that would make this whole thing moot. So then a bunch of chump attorneys general of several states, I think 22 states and Washington D.C.'s attorneys general, all came out with their refaces, and they filed suit against Defense Distributed and against the U.S. government, alleging that they couldn't make a rule change because they didn't do it the way they wanted them to do it, and therefore the plea agreement was invalid and needed to be undone, and they demanded that they prosecute him. It's very weird lawsuit. I believe it's actually still going on, although Cody is out of the case. The lawsuit is still going on, and it's just a giant waste of taxpayer money, so that's nice. But during the course of this lawsuit, Cody Wilson was tagged for allegedly engaging in sexual activity with a minor. That minor being 16 years old, allegedly. The age of consent in Texas is 17. Cody Wilson is in Texas, and the activity alleged took place in Texas. Here's the story on that. Cody went to a website called sugardaddiesmeet.com, or I guess if you are wealthy and looking for a hot little number for the evening, you go to Sugar Daddy's Meet. I don't know. They're not a sponsor of the show, so what am I supposed to do? Advertise their business? He went there, and when you go to the website, there's a button that you click to create a profile, and it says, "Are you over 18? Yes or no?" So to make a profile, you attest to being over 18. So Cody finds someone through some messages and arranges a meetup. They have video of Cody picking up this person in his Defense Distributed vehicle. They have video of him and this young girl, not a woman, but she'll be a woman soon. Actually, she might be now. I don't know. Going into a hotel room, and then they have video of the girl walking out of the hotel room. They don't have any video of the alleged sexual act, and that, I think, plays into this. So that was the charge. Now, to be clear, in Texas, and I believe every state, not knowing the age of the other person is not a defense to sexual assault of a minor. Ever. Okay? Even if they lie to you. Even if they lie to you. So, let's say there is a person who is 1 day younger than the age of consent, and they have a fake ID, a fake passport, they have friends telling you that they're a certain age. It doesn't matter. No matter what, they can have a sworn statement made under oath. They can have everything. They can have giant neon signs. The president of the United States could say, that girl, she's 18. I promise. I know her. Definitely 18. It doesn't matter. Ever. Guys, the courts have said, this is for you guys out there who are young or who may be shopping young. The courts have said that's buyer beware, so to speak. And buyer does not mean purchaser of sexual acts. They mean person who is engaging in the activity, and the illegal activity is not. We're not talking about the prostitution prospects here. We're talking about the actual sexual activity. It's too bad. If they're young, that's a risk you take. That's the courts. That's a risk you take. Okay? So I'm warning you guys out there. If she looks young, you might want to just walk the other way. Because that's the risk. Doesn't matter what they say. Ever. Ever. So that's not a defense. So when Cody says, but she represented herself as 18 on the site, they say, too bad, not a defense. So there you go. So he's charged with that. He actually leaves the country and is in Taiwan, misses his flight to come home. They arrest him in Taiwan, bring him back. All right. Cody has reached a plea deal. That's a lot of backstory, but it's important to know how we got to where we are. Cody has reached a plea deal. The plea deal is, let's see. Oh, here we go. It's right here in this first paragraph. Wilson, through a tentative plea agreement his lawyers reached with Travis County prosecutors, pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of injury to a child in exchange for a recommended sentence that will keep him out of prison, but requires him to register as a sex offender for 7 years while he serves deferred adjudication probation. Wilson, who forfeited his firearms last year when he was released from jail on bond, will not be able to own a gun while he's on probation. Now listen to this deal. No, it's not a defense if she used a fake ID saying 18 plus. It's not a defense. There is no defense. It is strict liability. It's on you. It's on you. Here's the defense. Didn't have sex with her. That's a defense. Whatever we did not meet the definition of sexual interaction under the statute. That's your only defense, which pretty much means you took her to Olive Garden and then went home, right, Russell? That's what it means. There is no defense. So, but listen to this plea deal. Let me break it down for you. So, he does not plead guilty for sexual intercourse with a minor, sexual assault of a minor, or anything like that. Injury to a child, which I've read the injury to a child statutes in Texas, unless I'm missing something, would not even apply to the situation in any sense. But okay, whatever. Please guilty to that. The recommended sentence, no jail time. Zero prison, 0 jail time. 7 years of probation. During the 7 years, no firearms because they're potential felony. And registers as a sex offender for 7 years. However, the way deferred adjudication tends to work, and I believe this to be the case based on the wording here, is he's not actually judged guilty during the probation period. And if he meets the conditions of probation, that charge will actually be dismissed at the end of the term of the probation. So in 7 years, assuming he meets all of the requirements of his probation and complies, then he will never have gone to jail. He will not be charged with the felony. He will have his firearms rights restored, and he will no longer be a sex offender. Let me help you out here. If you are charged with sexual assault of a minor and you have that plea deal, buy your lawyers some nice whiskey. Buy your lawyers some nice whiskey, because that is an amazing deal. Amazing deal. That ticks off most of the boxes people are worried about, right? "7 years of the government watching you like a hawk." His prison term was going to be longer than 7 years. That's a phenomenal deal. Like, how's he supposed to get a job for 7 years? Who cares? He's not in prison. Trust. You saw what happened to Epstein in prison. Cody's being sued, or was the target of ire of 22 attorneys general and the city attorney for New York. Do you want to be in prison with those kind of enemies? No. Nope. Never. Never. Let me tell you my thoughts. Now, when I did a video a while back called "The Uncomfortable Defense of Cody Wilson," and it talked about a strategy for defending this case. Now, this is a plea deal, so whatever they worked out is outside of the courtroom, and that video doesn't matter, okay? But the one critical problem with this case, for prosecutors, there's one critical problem. They have video of him picking her up, they have video of him walking her down the hallway and going in the room, and they have video of her coming out of the room. And then everything else, the critical elements of sexual intercourse with a minor, is actually having the sexual intercourse, right? That is a critical element of the crime. They have to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no video, and the only witness who will testify to it is a minor who, to establish who she is, would have to admit to lying about her age in front of the jury. That's a big credibility problem. Wait, so you lied to sign up for this website? And not only that, I mean, she didn't just lie to sign up for the website. She lied with the intent of being a hoe. Lied with intent to hoeing. Lying with intent to hoe. Whatever you want to call it. That's your witness. That's your only witness, is you lied for the purpose of engaging in sexual intercourse with someone over the age of 18 for money. Now, I don't think that the prosecution would be unable to prove their case. I really don't. I think that many juries are going to convict on the evidence that they had. Many juries are going to. But there's a risk for the prosecution there that you make a compelling argument that this girl's a liar, and when she says, "and then we had sexual intercourse in the hotel room," and Cody's lawyers say, actually, he found out that she was underage. He paid her the money for the date, because this is an escort service, right? Not a sexual service. Those are illegal. Paid her the money for the date and said goodbye, that he was no longer interested. And now you've got a he said, she said in a hotel room. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and the only witness is an admitted liar. That's a problem for the prosecution. Big problem. And so, if you want to do, or if you want to speculate on why he was able to get a deal like this, it's probably because his defense attorneys said, look, we'll take this to trial. We'll take it. Cody said he was going to trial. He said he would not take a plea deal. But you don't stand on principles when you get this plea deal. Trust me. Like, no. He's making the right call 100% here, in my opinion. But he had originally said he was not going to do a plea deal because it was all, it was ridiculous and blah, blah, blah. His attorney said, we're going to put that girl on the stand and we're going to expose her for the liar she is. And then it'll be up to the jury to decide. And the prosecutors have a big problem at that point, and they have to make a real decision about how they want to take that course of action. So he ends up with this plea deal. It's a great deal for him. And, whatever you think of Cody Wilson, I don't care if you think he's a scumbag. I don't know the guy. Don't know him. Frankly, I find the idea of going to a website called Sugar Daddy's Meat and paying for a woman's company is not something I would approve of at all. But, it's not my job to police people. I don't care what other people do. But so it's not like I have some special care of his actions here. I do like what he's done with Defense Distributed. Oh, he did step down as CEO of Defense Distributed a while back when he was arrested. I do like what he did. I agree with the purpose of his mission, but that purpose will carry on with or without Cody Wilson. I just wanted to follow up because this case got an unexpected resolution in the form of a rock star plea agreement that I would be happy to negotiate for a client in the same situation. Okay. Alethea says, hey, Nick, love your streams and everything you've done for Vic. I'd like a GoFundMe plug for my friend who was in an accident. Thank you for the support and cheers, Nick. GoFundMe, someone put a banana on the road. Is that... What? Is that the name of the GoFundMe? Let me just... I don't know if... No, I don't think that's it. Okay. That's... I'm not sure. No. That's a guy named Banana. That's not it at all. I don't know who or what GoFundMe it is. So I don't know how to answer you. Yeah. Where we go? Sorry. Next. Cloudfire 181 says, Nick, he should have cut off part of the limbs to count the rings on her. You just chop her in half at the trunk. Also, couldn't the P to the E to the D to the O who hung himself right on the wall before his death, the Clintons send their regards? You know what? Razorfist makes a great point. There's a lot of people who would be very interested in having Jeffrey Epstein offed, including Jeffrey Epstein, depending on who was going to get a hold of him. So, is it the Clintons? I mean, that's the funny meme. It's a funny meme, but it really, it could be, there's a lot of people. The man had information on very high, powerful, high value people with a lot of influence in various places. Who knows? Or maybe he just was facing the reality of being in prison or something. Let's see. Joseph TX says, age of consent in Texas jumps to 18 if you induce. Being a sugar daddy is sufficient proof of inducement per case law. If sex was mentioned beforehand, going to meet them is sufficient grounds for conviction per case law. Yeah, well, even so, she was under the age of consent anyway. She was 16, allegedly. Big Red Bear says, hey, Nick, honest question here. From what you see so far, what's the most suspicious thing about Epstein's death? Do you think that it's possible that he offed himself without help? I'm in the camp of no, but I'm curious. Oh, I think it's certainly possible. I was supposed to talk about this. I had a client end his life. And he was not charged with anything like Epstein. Not at all. But it doesn't matter. It's about where you are in your headspace and what's going on in your life. And that combines with this criminal thing. And, depending on what's going on in your life, you may decide that there is no future. Now, again, my client was not facing jail time, was not facing, we had negotiated a plea agreement and all of that stuff. Was not facing jail time or significant fines or anything like that. It was a lot of probation, and was going to actually had a deferred adjudication plan, but it was still too much, right? And he took his own life. Not the oldest guy in the book either. So there's nothing inherently suspicious about someone going through this killing themselves. And it's certainly possible that Epstein looked at his life of billions of dollars and jet setting around to different properties and banging underage chicks or whatever. And he said, I'll never do that again. I'm going to be prison meat and I don't want that. And he hung himself. That's certainly a possibility. Now, what's the most suspicious part? I mean, it's all the little things, right? It's very convenient. Very convenient. Substitute guard, taken off of suicide watch right after trying to commit suicide. Not being checked on for hours when it's supposed to be every half hour. There's a lot that goes into that. And it's so silly because it reads like a conspiracy theory. Just a plain reading of it. If you said, here's the facts to a person who had no idea who this was, you just say, here's person A. They're a billionaire. They allegedly flew a bunch of other billionaires to all engage in very illegal acts at this place, and may have the documents to back it up. They get arrested and go into jail. That person immediately thinks, oh, they'll get killed right away, because accidents do happen in jail. And then you start explaining the details, and I mean, it's really easy to see a possible conspiracy. I don't know if there was one, but it's much funnier if there is, right? It's always funnier to have the conspiracy, and so that's the mirth in exploring it. But what happened in my client's case is, case is dismissed because you can't continue prosecuting a dead guy. Can't do that. There's no real point here. And Barr asserts that any co-conspirators. Now, interestingly, he says any co-conspirators, not his co-conspirators. So I don't know if that's intentional language or not, but saying any co-conspirators indicates that they don't have a list of co-conspirators yet. All co-conspirators, or the co-conspirators, or identified co-conspirators, any of those things would have indicated that they had found someone. It's very subtle to say any co-conspirators. That doesn't necessarily mean it, but the wording implies that they are yet to be discovered. So we'll see. He says they'll continue to be investigated. Maybe, but your big witness is gone. So. All right. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Where were we? I think we're about done. We're finishing the topics. I said it's probably a short stream tonight. It's very, very relaxed and chilled. There's not a lot in the Vic case, and these are just some subjects people have been asking about. So I wanted to I wanted to hit those. So I'm about to read through a bunch of super chats. Think we've covered everything tonight. Gosh, I'm still scatterbrained here. I'm gonna do the super chats. So if you do take off for the super chats, thank you for watching tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Come back tomorrow. I'm not sure what the show tomorrow is gonna be yet. We've got to check and see if there are any updates in the Vic case. I don't know of anything specifically coming up anytime soon, although it's entirely possible motions will be filed by either party. Wednesday, it looks like, goodness gracious, I'm yawning like out of my mind. Wednesday, it looks like I will be debating, for whatever it's worth, some completely random idiot nobody, similar to a Shane Holmberg. I don't know. We'll see. I really do hope something else comes up, but if not, I'll give him his 20 minutes before he starts crying or whatever, and that'll be that, I suppose. And other than that, this week I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I'm working on some stuff. It may be a slow Vic week, but stay tuned to Twitter for announcements on what the shows will be. Am I Twitch thoughting tonight? Probably. Although, oh my god, probably not as long as normal. Let's see. Let's hit the justice chats and the super chats here, and then we'll wrap it up early tonight. You guys can have a night off, or you can come hang out with me on Twitch if you want. Clean says, if Vic sues Iago for TI and civil conspiracy, not defamation, does that mean Iago cannot do TCPA? Not necessarily. TI, tortious interference, tends to involve communication, the publication of statements, and they could argue that those are protected by the First Amendment and therefore slappable. Civil conspiracy requires an underlying tort, so the TI would be the underlying tort there, and that would, civil conspiracy would go with the TI. Although, if you're able to show civil conspiracy, you pretty much fulfill any sort of malice requirements. Redacted of Mopex says, Cody Wilson is an old friend of mine from middle school and junior high. He was actually a Christian and conservative back then. I'd like to think he was set up in all this. Either way, it's surreal to see people I know in the news being charged with crimes. Yeah, isn't that weird? It is very strange. Yeah. Mercenary X says, hey Nick, this comes from John Ward's video I recommend you watch. 3 things about it. 1, Trump couldn't protect Epstein or his usefulness ran out and Trump doesn't care. His third option is Epstein is still alive. Continued, it says, also there's the fact that Epstein is nothing more than a figurehead. At best common, the real person with all knowledge is someone by the name of Ray Chandler. I think that's her name. She was Epstein's assistant, and rumor is the military has her on lockdown. I don't know. Maybe. Faye says, Minority Report was a great movie. Whoever super chatted earlier is a big dummy. Nick, please say, I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. No, I did not. Just kidding. Xander Zoran says, Nick needs more dopamine. Also watch Shin Godzilla. The director of Evangelion directed it. Even has some music from Ava in it. Bad Dragonite says, hey Nick, it's my birthday today. Hey, happy birthday. Oh no, that's private information. Guess I just got doxxed by the evil fake internet lawyer inquisitor Nick Rekieta. No! I Rule 47 says, hail Sir Rackets. I sent you a Twitter DM about my girlfriend's GoFundMe. GoFundMe, help give her a smile. Thank you so much for all you do keeping us up to date. And this and in many other cases. Much love to you and your clan. Hey, thanks, buddy. So that's help give her a smile. And then here's another one. Anime Moon says, thanks to all who have helped already with my wife's dental fund. We still need more. Any further help is appreciated. That's a GoFundMe. Help to get desperately needed dental. By the way, John Kelly is GG Revolt and hates e-celebs. Just mock his idiocy. But isn't he trying to be an e-celeb? Very weird. Very weird. Fluffy Side Up says, I hear Ron, Monica, and Duchette had information leading to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. I can't verify, but may need some looking into. Lol. Citizen of Yarnum says, a horse named Miss Triggered just won me $250K in GTA bucks. Keck, just wanted to share because I thought it was funny. Good job, Miss Triggered. Keep on running, buddy. Don't get euthanized. CLJ Screwjob says, hey, Nick, so what's with funny being able to choose the in-house counsel that might not have any actual knowledge of the case? It sounds like you picking I'm Justin Y or Keck7Go to be deposed instead of you. Just seems like Ty/Vic being screwed over. No, well, he has to have knowledge of the case. They'll have to establish that, or they'll just, attempt to do. That's if they want to depose the organization. And if they want to depose individuals, they can go after those individuals. Where Tiger says, isn't it a federal crime to lie to being 18 on those websites? Well, maybe. I mean, maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? What are you going to do? Prosecute the chick? Unlikely in this case. She's a victim. Right? Children are always victims in these crimes. All right. John Who says, second time donating. Nick, have you seen the new Demon Slayer episode? The animation and music was godly. Also enjoyed this super chat. I have not watched any Demon Slayer episodes. I don't know what that is. Is it good? Good show? Wargame 341 says, next time you consider doing a dad stream, may I suggest having Adam Carolla on as a guest? I'd like to hear his takes on family and being a man in today's society. Oh, buddy, you and me both. If I could get Adam Carolla on stream, that would be fantastic. I just, I don't know that I have a line to Adam Carolla. Snack Sheet says, I love the Clintons. Please don't Minecraft me. Unreal End Gaming says, you need to hurry and finish watching Dragon Ball Super. Just wanted to say, keep up the amazing work. Also, we're about to reach 600,000 subscribers. Can a brother get some love and reach it tonight? Holy cats, buddy. Wow, that's a lot of people. Hey, send some my way so I can eat these stupid Reaper peppers. Oh, if you guys don't know, at 75,000 subscribers, I'm going to eat a Reaper pepper on stream. And then do the show. We'll do the show before the pepper so people come watch. We'll do it after. Some people have suggested I wash it down with Fireball whiskey, but that sounds horrible. Otaku Sage says, did you look into the Supmato situation? I have not yet. Harbinger 345 says, lawyers professional ethics board. Gosh dang it, it's this Nick Rekieta guy again. Now it's a matter of time before they too are grifted, oh Lord Grifter. That'd be great. That'd be great. Harbinger 345 says, for legal reasons, that was a joke. Yellow Flash 2 says, infighting and turning on your audience is never good. I agree. Ninja Work 111 says, Weeb Wars stream with Medicare as a guest. Reach out. I don't know that Medicare is very interested in the Weeb Wars stuff. Jim's always got his own stuff going on, and I mean, he's welcome. He's welcome to come on anytime, but I don't know that this piques his interest that much. So, who knows? Bad Vibe says, red flag law kills due process. Probably. I believe it, but I don't know what it is yet. I'll look into it. Tomoki Sakurai says, Nick, have you listened to Slipknot's new album? No. Also, Nick, Slipknot chapter number 9, whiskey is now available to purchase. I hope it's better than Conor McGregor's whiskey. Anderson Cooper's hamster says, do you have a hamster? Do you own firearms? Which? I do not have a hamster. I used to own firearms, but they're tragically lost at the bottom of one of Minnesota's 10,000 lakes. I don't even remember which one. Must be all the whiskey. Must be all the whiskey. Let's see. Cynic in Chief says toilet paper itself is wrong. Bidets for the win. I know some people who swear by bidets. Blaine 20 says, if you ever hear I've Minecrafted myself, call the FBI. True Primarch of Chaos Undivided says, dang boomer docs harder. Kalinka Pavlova says, Nick, if you debate JMK, he might just cry the whole stream due to the reaming you'll give him and make empty threats to Lady Rackets or something. Okay. If that's his plan, that's how he wants to spend his time. Ninja Work 111 says, Wizzo, I did not threaten her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Bad Vibe says, isn't the GoFundMe comparable to the comic book legal defense fund? The GoFundMe is just money raising. That's all it is. It's just private donations to people for the purpose of raising money for a lawsuit. It's on the description page. Luis Mejia says, Clem. Cool. Versil says, for road rage this weekend, will you be there on the Friday, Saturday for drinks? Yes. Yes, I will. And if so, would there be any way to get in touch? I'm driving from Alberta and would love to hang out. Go wherever the drinks are. Go where the crew is. That's, I think Tanner Gregory is running the bar schedule, wherever that is. So I don't know where we're going to be, but I'll be wherever Dick is, and we'll be hanging out. That'll be Friday and Saturday. So yeah, come find me. Come find me in the crowd. Kalinka Pavlova says, con owners capitulating to VIX haters only emboldens them to harass and coerce you and others in the future. Please be strong and think about the fans. Yeah. Hooknose says, could you get to the glow in the dark topics? Thanks. There you go. Harbinger 345 says, to conventions out there listening, Twitter is not real life. Jason of the Great Awakening says, could we call it the Burning Chair Festival? Sure. Bad Vibe says, if you crowdfund the con, I will invest. We'll see. Austin Heartless says, can cat taco recipe win? Kalinka Pavlova says, 4 kittens, 5 kids. 1 kid is going to go hungry, though. Oh, no, we also have 3 full-grown cats. They're all outdoors. The kittens aren't outdoors yet, and one of them is going to a family member, thank God. Kalinka Pavlova says, the U.S. is finally united on a topic, R.E. Epstein. Philip Erdeljohn says, Nick, sent your official Twitter a DM. Your technical discussion during your Cloudflare discussion was painful and made me want to jump in. Hit me up for an InfoSec professional. Ooh, that could be fun. Andrew War Snowboard says, we can get our own con with blackjack and hookers. Paul Godin says, Nick's going from a grifter to a con man. Yeah. Snubbirth13 says, could he file suit against the company the girl worked for? I don't think she worked for a company. If you mean Sugar Daddy's Meat, it's not a company that you work for. It's just a connection place. I don't think she worked for like a particular escort company. But no. Lucius Sula says, have you checked out the story about the Harvard law professor getting blackmailed by a lesbian and her transgendered lover? If you like, I'll DM it to you. I feel like I've heard that story. Oh, that's what happened in Coach Red Pill's book. That's right. That's where I've heard that story. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, not exactly that, but something similar. It was not exactly that. Yeah, you could DM it to me. I'd have to find it. John Who says, Demon Slayer is an anime, by the way. It is amazing. I'll have to check it out then. Cloudfire181 says, it was to prevent the cell of defense secrets. Are you talking about the the law on the export restriction on information about defense secrets? But that law is a problem in general, or it's way too broad. Rhino says, have Keemstar and or Quartering on for Twitch over party. Talk about online platforms ignoring their own TOS and when a platform becomes a publisher. And Austin Heartless says, insert Steven Crowder's dumpster fire ad here. And then finally, former Clinton bodyguard says, hey, Nick, thanks for getting me into 40K. Just played the tabletop game for the first time this weekend. It was a blast. Praise the Emperor and long live the Grey Knights. Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys. Let's, outro music. Is it going to play? That button works. That button works on the Streamlabs. I don't know, or on the Stream Deck. So here's the outro music. This is Whiskey Drinking Lawyer by My Room Records. You can find it on SoundCloud. The link is in the description. A lot of people ask me, where do you find this song? Well, it's right there in the description. All the links you're looking for are typically in the description, including the Ridge Wallet link is in the description. Also, the link to my Twitch is in the description if you want to come hang out tonight. And it's going to be 15 minutes or so from the end of this stream as I get things set up and go to the bathroom. But I try to start the stream up so people know it's running and get notifications. But yeah, come hang out, come watch. I did read your super chat. Oh no, I didn't see that one. Cloudfire181 says, hey Nick, fun fact, my dad stopped the Clintons while they were in the White House and he's still alive. They tried to promote him, fire him, and send over one of the deputy secretaries to yell at him. Also, he thinks the Clinton did it. Whoa! That's amazing. I'd ask your dad if he wanted to come on the show, but I don't want to get him killed. What's the dealio, says Clem? Brian Dewig says, Nick, you apparently have a fair number of Warframe fans. Twitch stream win. I don't play Warframe. I don't know. Alright, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I'm going to wrap up the stream. Let the song play out. Come join me on Twitch in about... Well, come join me whenever. And I'll start the show up in a couple minutes after I go to the bathroom. And get some tortillas to eat. And we'll talk soon. We'll talk tomorrow. Alright, guys. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
So pour out an odd bag of balm or a love rug. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea. Post on Twitter as we hear lawsplaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now.